Hey everyone, it's Sim Farmer and welcome to a little bit of a tutorial, or just me showing you how I go about creating something like this. So this was the farm I built for the time-lapse series, the time-lapse build farm on Ravenport. This is a slightly different version to the one that actually ended up at the end of the video, because I did go and change a few bits around here. So I added this shed in, moved that shed from about here, added that small free garage shed thing, and tidied up the edge of this field, which needed all ploughing and tidying up, so I did all off camera. I did a little hut there, some more trees, the refillable points, which are I'm using in the time-lapse series now. Pretty much everything else was the same up this side, it was just that end over there we changed. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go over on field 13. So if we just jump to the sawmill. So we are nearby. Where am I going? Over here. So this area of land, as you can see, it's quite a bit of a hill. First we obviously need to buy the land, so we'll buy that, and we'll also buy these two fields just to make life easier when we get close to the road. So as you can see, field 13 takes up a fair size of this space, and although that's not flat, it's a lot flatter than this section here. So what I'm going to do is not a huge farm, not going to try and fit all animal types in or anything like that. It's just basically to show you some basics of how I went about doing the other one. And yes, you could just go on a flat field, flatten it a little bit more and place all your buildings down on one level, but I don't know, it's a bit more creative and a bit more of a challenge to do it on an area like this, plus you're not taking up any field space. So first we want to do is, when you get the new update, or if you've got the 1.2 beta patch, is in the shop menu. You obviously go through the vehicles tools. On the very end now you get the landscaping option. So Xbox controller, press A, keyboard, this will be enter to start landscaping. And that'll bring you up into similar to the placing an objects mode, where you've got like you're zoomed out a bit and you've got your cursor in the middle to paint, and obviously you can move your WASD keys to move around, and then your mouse to place. So I'll leave the PC controls up for a little bit, so if you want to pause it and just look over those, you can do. So we've got like the standard camera controls, Q and E, rotate camera and stuff. I said WASD to move around, and then you've got the mouse controls. So we've got left click, raise terrain, the right click to lower terrain, the mouse wheel to smooth, and then we've got the hold both mouse buttons down to flatten, and obviously you can zoom the camera in by scrolling the mouse wheel. And then we've got change landscaping mode, and that is switching between sculpting and painting, so that's X on the keyboard. Change the radius with the arrow keys, which increases the size of the brush, and then left control Q and E, which changes the actual strength of the brush, so it's got more of an effect on what you're doing. So if you're raising the terrain, it'll raise it more with the higher brush strength. Xbox controls, I presume these will be exactly the same for Xbox when it's on console, and the equivalent to these buttons on PS4. So it's pretty simple: A raise, B back, X lower, Y smooth, RB is flatten. Push the left stick down for changing the landscape mode, push the right stick down to change the modification shape, and then you've got the right stick for camera, and then the left stick to move around and zoom in and out with the D-pad up and down. So that's all the controls. So what we're going to do is, because this is quite a sloped area, the easiest thing would be to start at the top and just literally flatten this whole area out. So if we increase our brush size to the maximum, which is 20, the way to set your level is pretty much on the same area, but if you go like down here now and press flatten, it'll set it to this area. So that'll end up. So what you need to, the best way I've found of getting it, if you're like down here and you now want to flatten this area down to sort this level, if you press A or X to raise or lower just slightly, and then whatever that becomes then is what level you will flatten at. Again, if I go up here now and flatten, it'll just create a big crater because I'm set down this area. So I don't think there's any other way of setting it other than just say a quick tap of A or X and then you've got your level. It's a little bit strange that there's not a option where you can just click on a certain area of terrain and then that's the flattened level you've selected. But as I said, the easiest way to be is if we go up here, we'll press A to get our level and then we can just flatten all this. Now this, if you're doing this in your save game, like your normal game, it's going to cost you a hell of a lot of money. I'm really not sure how you're going to go about without adding money, as it's super expensive. And what I have discovered is if you stay in one spot that's nice and flat level, you hold down... oh, it's not doing it now. That's great. When I was just doing the time-lapse video, I literally could hold the cursor in one spot, hold the level button down, and it would just literally hemorrhage money. The money would just continually go down. So for some reason it's not doing it now, which I don't know why, but anyway. So this would be the easiest way to go about doing a farm here, is just literally flatten the area as much as you can. And you've got a nice big flat level area, you can fit all your buildings in nice and easy. Obviously the radio mast can't be removed, so we'll have to work around it. Literally then you're left with obviously a big sheer cliff face along the edge of the road. If that's what you want to go for, then fair enough. I would say that is the easiest way. Then you put all your buildings down, nice and simple. But what I'm thinking of doing is, because I'm not keen on that big huge massive cliff face, although it kind of can't be avoided to a degree. If you want to utilise this full area, I mean, you could bring this all the way up along here. You can't change this section here around these rocks, but you can come up to about here, flatten all that off as well. You could just flatten it all off and increase the field size, so you could have a bigger field if you wanted to. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just reset this save game so it's back to its original form, then we'll come back and have a look at like splitting this into 2 levels and getting some buildings down. Okay, so save game reloaded. We're now back to the original ground state. So if we jump back into landscaping mode, it's going to be tricky to do because it's such a big incline compared to when I did the other farm on Ravenport. It wasn't such a steep incline between the bottom section and the upper section, so splitting it is going to be a bit tricky, but we'll see what we can do. So I don't know, the best way to probably approach this would be to kind of flatten off this bottom area first. So we'll go for the largest brush size, we'll keep it on round, and if we go somewhere around here, now that has messed up the road a little bit, but we'll fix that in a bit. So that's kind of the level we're going for, and if we flatten off this section, don't want to come too close to the road, because I do find if you come close to the road it's difficult to actually do anything with what you change. And also with this road as well, we want to keep this road for access, obviously up to the farm and the field, so don't want to come too close to that one as well. So what you can do then is just smooth off the edges, unless you want to leave it a cliff face, like the rock face, but we'll smooth this off a little bit. You can increase the brush size, so if you're on console, hold down LB and then use the right stick up and down, so that's brush strength 3. Just say in the bottom right hand corner, the brush size, brush strength stuff. So you can see now the higher brush strength, we're getting a lot more of effect on the smoothing. and smoothing all that out. Unfortunately, the grass doesn't regrow as of yet. I do believe they are looking at ways to either for the grass to regrow or to add grass. Not 100% sure on how they're going to go about doing that. So that's that bit smoothed off, and we'll go back to leveling off a bit more of this, and we'll bring this right the way down to about there, and we'll come across kind of around as you can see, because of such a difference in the height of the train, it does cut out quite a lot between the different levels. So if we now do the upper level, and we'll come down somewhere by the road, and yeah, we don't want that, so lower the brush strength so we're not quite a drastic change. If we lower that kind of there, we'll probably do. So I'll just smooth that off a little bit. So this is our level for the top. Obviously, if you go too close to the field, it will just delete the field. There's no way of repainting the field, you do have to replow it in. So if you come very close to the edge, you are going to lose a bit of the field. So you don't want to lose any field space, then don't go too close to it. And if we just level this off completely, and then we'll increase the brush strength again, and then we'll smooth off this section. So we've got a bit more of a gentle slope up to the actual field, rather than that sheer drop. And we can go back and continue leveling. We'll probably bring it around to about there. So we can't take out the radio mast, so that's got to stay. But we can just kind of level the train around it a little bit. Right, so that's kind of two flat areas we've got now, and the best thing to do is trying to decide what to do. I'm thinking, because of the radio mast, we might just bring it level around the back to about there, and then we continue leveling off this section. Bring that round a bit. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to adjust the height to get another level, and then we'll put it like a little ledge across, and then do the same down the bottom, but not as wide. Can bring that in following the road a little bit. I'm just going to do the smooth it all out now, so we've got more of a gradual slope. We're blending the ledges in together, and we can bring that all in and blend that all over. So could continue that flat area off around there, but it's not going to be very wide at that level. We'll probably just leave it there. So this is not a full, we're not going to build a full farm, it's just a little bit of a demonstration showing you what you can actually do, and kind of how I went about doing the other one. So you can continue smoothing all that off, so you get that very gradual slope, so it blends in a little bit more with what's already there down the other end. So that would be that. You could continue doing that, so I'm not going to fully do it because we'll be here forever. I say it would take quite a while to do. So now we've got that. We've got this huge big cliff face here, which if we slope that down, we're going to lose a lot of space down here. But we'll see how it looks when we do it. Bring that round and smooth this bit off here. And then we'll just do this edge off. See, personally, I don't like that bit there. I'd prefer it if it was a bit more of a kind of edge to it. So what I'm going to do is, well, trying to work out the oh, definitely didn't want to do that. Forget, that's one of the things when you got the brush strength on the highest setting, it's so easy to quickly mess up what you're trying to do. So if we bring that down, now what we'll reset this level and bring that in a little bit. So we kind of got the cliff face, but it's not like a sheer complete drop. We've broken it up a little bit, so we can have a little bit of grass across there, and then we'll paint the like the rock texture on the other bit. So that's basically our 2 levels that we're going to go with. Just smooth that a little bit off. So what we do now is switch to the painting mode. For the rock faces, we've got 2 options on this one. There's like a lighter brown type colour, which is, I believe, the one that's used. Is it on this one? Yeah, I think it's similar to that one. And then there's the like dark grey type. So you can choose whichever one you want. Obviously, I find this a bit easy with a mouse, so you can keep the camera in one spot. Now we can just paint our rock faces. Do this little bit over here. We'll just bring it around a little bit. And we'll lower the brush size, and again just do this little lip here, and then we've got that bit of grass there to kind of break it up. And then we've got the different textures, so we've got mud, dirt, light dirt, dark dirt, there's like a moss one, there's the grass, and then there's like patchy grass, which is quite cool. So you can, around the edge of the rocks, you can just add some patchy grass. So just off the edges there where the grass wouldn't grow quite as much. And again, just the base of there. So there we've got our slightly rock face. So what we'll do is we'll go with the dirt texture, which is what's on the road, and then we'll just pretty much paint the whole area to start with. So you go back with the other textures to tidy up any edges after you've done that. We just bring it up a little bit closer up there. So that's our first fairly flat area, and then obviously you can start going to buildings down. So you could say you have access point in, get your silos in. So you've got a road coming in, you can get to the unload, the loading section. Possibly like put a shed in. I say this is not a planned thing, it's just to kind of show you, because I wouldn't put that there. Say with the space we've got, it's not a huge space, so working out the best way to utilise space is going to be difficult. So let's get rid of that one, if we can actually find the right one. No, it's definitely not that one. So we'll sell that, and then obviously the best thing to do is, if you're doing this in your actual main game, is to obviously save before you do much work, because you're going to end up wasting a lot of money. in having that, putting something down, not quite liking where it goes, and then wanting to sell it again. Why does it always take me back to that one? So we sell that silo because, yeah, I'm not really keen on where the position of that is, and I'm completely lost. As I say, because this is a difficult area, if it wasn't such a steep step up to the next level, you could probably tier it up into 3 different levels like I did with the other farm, and you could fit a hell of a lot more in. Okay, so what we could look at doing is getting, so there's all various different sheds we could put in. You put one of these in, and you could actually put the, what to get the silo a bit further close this way. I don't think it's really going to fit in that space very well. So you could just put sheds down here, maybe some machine sheds. So I'm trying to do this on the fly, and it's kind of a bit more difficult than it was before. Trying to actually show you what can what you can kind of do. So let's sell. Oh, say why it keeps pulling me all the way back down there. I always pick the wrong shed. So we'll sell this one as well, and I'll say try and quickly come up with some sort of thing for this area. So what we're thinking is, if we get one of these sort of in front of the rock face around there, and we'll get another one here, just so we've got some machine shed storage. I say the area here is not brilliant. I say you do need quite a bigger space, and there's not a vast amount of choice of buildings. I do need to try and have a look at downloading some more, so we've got a few more things, but we can get the vehicle workshop in, so you could have like a vehicle storage area with the workshop in. Get your little pressure washer. Switch to landscaping mode, and we'll do the dirt texture. That's not the right one. Let's bring that over. Tidy that a little bit up. And just break that up a little bit. And just on the edge of there, so it's not all solid. So you could have some sort of machine storage on this low level, and we could always bring this out further and have that rock face. If we switch to the sculpting mode, get our level, bring that out a bit more, just to increase the size of this area, and slope that down. And level this bar right along the edge of the road to there. So all I'm doing here is just hitting smooth in different areas, just to break up that complete edge, so it's not all that one level. So why has that rock face got dirt texture? That was a bit weird. So we'll go for the rock texture. We could just quickly paint this in. That kind of thing, though. We could probably, don't go out to that. See if we could fit the small silo in. We say put it round this way. Kind of get the idea of like what you can actually do is there, and then obviously up this area you could get a lot. This space, to be honest, without losing a bit of the field, you're not going to fit a lot in this area because of just how big that drop is, unless you completely flatten it off right to the edge of the road. So personally, I wouldn't pick this area for a complete like farm. Maybe if you just want it as some extra storage, just flatten off the top area, get a few sheds up here so you can keep some equipment for doing these fields. But if you want to go all down animal routes, then obviously there's some probably better areas. Or you could break it up and have animal section down this end of field 6. Is field 6? Yeah. So this is a reasonably flat area where you could probably get some animal pens, like a large cow pasture in here, quite easy. If you flatten their area off. Then you could have a separate area for your cows, and then your main yard over the other side. So we kind of have a look. I mean, at the top, probably just get one of these sheds in. And we'll do some asphalt texture on this bit. Just like concrete it off, bring that down to the road there. And level all off, and then we've got, you know, all the different sheds. I really hope soon there's going to be a lot more sheds on Mod Hub that we can use. You can place that down. Unfortunately, that one didn't go down very well. Let's. I think it's because I'm too close to that section of the radio mast. It's obviously gone with that level because it couldn't level that section of terrain rather than level that bit it's raised. The other bit, so we go for the slightly smaller shed and fit that in. Will it fit in? Just about. So you've got some machine storage up there, and then the other thing, decorations. You've obviously got these buildings, so you put a little farm hut in. Serves no purpose whatsoever. So even like that, like if that was a vehicle workshop as well, so you could have utilise it as something rather than just a building that has no purpose. Same the farm garage. And these farm barns, they've got no purpose whatsoever. You can't open the doors, you can't put anything in them. A little bit pointless. Farm trailer, well, they didn't make that as being able to use it as your house, so you can sleep overnight in something like that rather than just having to buy the farmhouse. Farm old barn, big huge building, 60,000, and is nothing but basically decoration. And then we've got the trees, which I downloaded. I used quite a lot of on the other farm. Just make things look a little bit prettier. Probably not everyone will be into like the trees. It's one of those personal preference things. I just think it just looks a little bit better. I'll probably go a little bit too over the top with them. But still, we really wonder why we've got this really rather bizarre peak here. So that's pretty much it for this video. I didn't want to go too much into super detail about doing it because it would take quite a while. It's far easier to do time lapse, as you can see it all sped up. But if we take a look, if I just enable the mode so we can actually fly up into the air, which, as long as I don't go past it, which is that one. So you can kind of see just in a 20 odd minutes, 30 minutes, what we've been able to create. We've got a little storage yard down there with a silo. And then we've got a little top area there with some storage sheds. And it doesn't look too bad. Wrong way. So it's basically just wanted to kind of give you a brief overview. What I probably will do is do a series of videos doing a complete farm, but it'll probably be in several parts because it'll just take too long. I think doing the farm down the other end took about an hour and half or so, but obviously whereas you're explaining things as you go, and it adds more time to how long it takes. So if you do have any questions, comments, or you want to see anything more in a little bit detail, then please do let me know down in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this video, then please don't forget to hit the thumbs up with I'm getting all tongue twisted. If you did enjoy the video, then please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, then please do consider subscribing. We're going to have new Farm Simulator 19 videos every day, and hopefully a lot more like this, because people seem to want to see a lot more. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you again. Goodbye.